The first question, Justin Joseph, you've got 3, but I'll answer 2 of yours, and then I'll take Stephen Picado, and then we'll go back to the latest. These are from the old ones. I'm the last, and then coming Justin Joseph's question. 2 questions I'm taking from your 3. Can you please give a catechesis on what happened at the Amazonian Synod? What was the purpose behind it and the controversy of the Holy Father worshipping Pancha-mama idols? Yeah, Justin, this question had come a long time back, but since no one else asked about the Amazonian Synod, I didn't take it up, but I want to finish it up now. The Amazonian Synod was a synod of the bishops. Synods are synods of bishops, but there were lots of participants from the Amazonia who are in the Amazonian area. The Amazon is a big forest, one of the lungs of the earth, they say, a very big forest, and it's mainly in Brazil, but it touches many other countries, over there. And speaking to the bishops, the Holy Father nominated me to join the synod. He nominated me, didn't pick me out alone. Our whole council of cardinals who advises him, he nominated all of us, because then we evaluate and we share our thoughts. And I remember very clearly, I want to share with you, was almost surprising. But when the Holy Father told us, I've been nominating all of, 7 of us or something on the synod. And I remember I told him, I said, Holy Father, I know nothing of Amazonia. I had never been there. Just now, recently I went to Mexico, and now I know a little bit. I knew many bishops of that area. So many were my friends. And I said, Holy Father, 3 weeks we'll have to be away. And the Pope Francis told me, Cardinal, I'm inviting you. If you don't want to come, up to you. Of course, if the Holy Father invites you, it's an order. You don't take that as a invitation. It's naturally he wanted me. And I want to share with you really that after attending that synod, I learned so much, very, very, very much. And I think I was also able to contribute. I made interventions based on canon law, which many bishops asked me for the text, what I had said, but that apart, so I was able to help. But I learned a lot. It was one of the best synods I attended for participation, because the people of Amazon were there, and that whole area, there's a certain specific pastoral life. There is a great, and I want to share also, at the end of it, I remember I said, what I told you, I told some groups that I was very hesitant when the Holy Father nominated me, but I thought, what sense does it make? I learned so much, and I felt that the problems of the world are the same. What they have there, we have also in India. Migration, the rights of the indigenous people are being trampled, the pastoral care, really the same, very similar problems. That's very interesting. So Justin, the Amazonian Synod was a synod of what they call technically a special synod because of a particular area. It was I think it was for 3 weeks, and lots of participation. I liked it the most because there was tremendous participation and enthusiasm of the people, the Amazonian people from the Amazon, and they came over there. And this Pancha-mama, the little unnecessary controversy. The Holy Father was very angry one day, and when he came. You see, people imagine that it is a symbol. I saw that it's symbol of nature, Mother Nature, which the local people have. And since it is nothing to do with worship, nothing to do with everything is part of our religion, of our faith. We inculturate. So nature also was because of the care of creation, that also was taken. It was. I remember once. We were going, one of the days we were going in some procession, and that Mother Nature, a symbol of Mother Nature, was also carried along. There was nothing it did not represent Our Lady, nothing of the faith, and so it was absurd to think that that was worship. It was absurd. And some people thought it, and as a symbol of nature, it was kept in one of the churches or something close by. And I remember everybody was shocked because some group came and took it and threw it in the Tiber. That was like an insult to the people of the Amazon. So really, it was total misunderstanding. Perhaps, when I look back, there should have been more clear communication of what is this, little more communication of what it means, why it is there, or how it represents Mother Nature, what is the history. This is a original tribal. So there was no question of, it's absurd, Justin, to think that the Holy Father was. So he was very angry because at that time he did not know that they were accusing him of worshipping Panchamama, I think. So it was a good synod, and they made many suggestions. Justin, the people have got a great difficulty there. There's some people have Mass only once in 6 months. Some Mass only once a year. You can imagine without the Eucharist. As a result, people are not getting faith formation. They're not getting community exercise of worship. Some people are beginning to drift away from the Catholic Church and going into groups. They form self-formed groups, sects, etc. So there's a real pastoral problem, and I think there's a solution. I think we can work it out, and therefore it was very important that this synod is a real contribution. Querida Amazonia, Dear Amazon, that's the name of the post-synodal document which the Holy Father gave. Justin, now another second question, and I go on to somebody else. Why were the tabernacles, I think a typing mistake here, why were the tabernacles and altar rails removed after the 1970s? I see in certain churches the tabernacle is far away from the altar. Also, what are your thoughts on restoring the altar rails for reception of Holy Communion? I've seen in all Anglican churches in Mumbai having altar rails. I have not been recently to any Anglican church. Also receiving Holy Communion altar rails much faster than inline. There was a survey done based on that. Thank you, Justin, for the question. Now, why are they removed? You asked many questions. I want to give one thing very clear, which is my mind clear now. I see in certain tabernacles far away from the altar. I don't think. I think the tabernacle should occupy pride of place in the sanctuary. That's really clear. That's my mind. And I think that's, I want to say, you have a basis for what you're saying. You see, after Vatican II, when the whole overhauling of the liturgy and renewing of the liturgy was done, people began now saying that, which is true, the Eucharist is a memorial of the sacrifice of our Lord. So really, of the passion, death and resurrection. And therefore it's meant for the Mass to celebrate. It is preserved historically, the Eucharist preserved the tabernacle mainly was in the early churches to take to the sick. It was not, that was the reason. Then we got into the, theology developed, devotion developed, people began to pray, and we have got now Eucharistic adorers, we've got so many movements. Now that is a development. Many try to go back to the origin and say, no, this Eucharist is not meant to pray. But I can see that, I want to say clearly, it's the presence of our Lord. And therefore that should have the prayer. You can't put it in a corner, it should be in the center. I think it should be in the center or a little off center, right, left, but certainly not in a corner. I can see in St. Peter's Basilica, there are so many tourists, therefore there's a separate altar. But in our churches, certainly Justin, I am with you in this. And now that you say, I'll make sure in the churches that are being built in our Archdiocese that the tabernacle occupies pride of place. There was a certain, you have a basis, there was a certain movement soon after the council saying, no, now that should be by the side, really, the crossway. Coming in, then the other things, altar rails. Your second thing is about altar rails. Now, altar rails were removed at that same time. There were two things which happened, Justin. One is, began because of medical situation. There was a fear of spread of AIDS, and therefore people, the communion began being given on the hand because of, not to stop infection. And now, of course, there was the COVID pandemic. That was at that time. That's how it began originally. And then now, and the numbers are so big, to kneel and to stand up, it is also for to give people for speed. Also the theology that in the hand, every baptized person is also consecrated holy, and we all are unworthy to receive. The priest is as unworthy as the lay person to touch the Holy Eucharist. I am unworthy to touch the Holy Eucharist, person of Jesus. But don't think that your hands are impure, my hands are pure. That was a theological basis for which that it can be given on the hand also. And I appreciate some people do not want to receive, and I appreciate their great devotion and feeling unworthiness. I also have seen some people wanting to kneel and receive. I appreciate that. They feel unworthy to receive it standing. I appreciate it. But I don't want this to disturb the other people. So that's the reason why during the pandemic, for example, I said don't give communion kneeling down for sake of and don't give on the tongue, not to spread the infection. We've got to take care of that also. No? Now, altar rails, I do not think there is necessity. The altar rails were there mainly for them to separate the sanctuary and the nave. But now everybody is really part of the community to kneel down. You said there was a survey done about faster. I'd be happy to know about the survey, but the fact is that my own impression is that this is much faster than people. You get 3-4 lines you have, and people go faster. Maybe in the smaller churches, I could think about that, but I am not issuing any direction to restore altar rails. It's unnecessary expense and would not really help in any way for that adjustment. I appreciate your question and your thinking about this continuously and different matters to renew the church. The church should be renewed, and that we want to listen to all the questions that we can answer them. That's Justin. I want to go next to the next question.